What does Pluto mean in astrology? What is up, Alien Army? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel we discuss everything esoteric, otherworldly, and alien. Today's topic shall be no different, and we are going to dive deep into the planet which likes to dive deep, Pluto. What does Pluto mean for you? How does this planet empower you? How does he show you what your human obsessions and addictions are? Pluto in astrology is the outermost planet, the one furthest from the sun, taking approximately 248 years to make one full orbit around the sun. Because of this, Pluto's position in one's natal chart is a generational influence and can stay in each zodiac sign for 14 to 30 years. This is why the house placement of Pluto and any aspects to him are more important than his actual sign placement when reading one's natal chart. Pluto was first discovered on February 18th, 1930 by Clyde Tombaugh, and Pluto is named for the Roman god of the underworld, his Greek equivalent being Hades. Interestingly enough, Pluto did not live with the other gods on Mount Olympus. He lived far away from them in his own palace in the depths of the underworld. Much like the planet Pluto is rather isolated from the sun's warmth due to its proximity. Astrologically speaking, Pluto is the governor of the 8th house and the sign Scorpio. Wherever Pluto dwells in one's natal chart, there will be a touch of scorpionic 8th house energy present. Now, what exactly does that mean? Pluto governs over what one may consider to be deep topics: sex, death, rebirth, transformation, control, power, obsessions, addictions, and other variable psychological nuances. Since Pluto governs a fixed water sign, his influence will be hidden and rigid, especially in the area of the human psyche. We're talking subconscious mind shit. Things presenting themselves on the surface may not actually be what is going on. As we said, Pluto likes to dive deep. That surface shit, it ain't for him. So let's break out the scuba gear. Here we go. Pluto is the planet of secret liaisons, especially of an emotional nature. Wherever Pluto is placed in one's natal chart, you can bet your bottom dollar that that area of the individual's life will be peppered with suspicion and half-truths, never fully allowing an other to view the native naked here. This house placement is an area of profound importance, bordering on an obsessive tangent. It is the area where the native feels drawn to, without any rhyme or reason. Why is this area so meaningful to them? How does it hold a seemingly powerful spell over their psyche? What is the reason for their guarded secrecy in the house where Pluto dwells? The native will tend to conduct affairs in the house where Pluto dwells in a clandestine manner. The biggest secret, however, is the one they refuse to admit to themselves. Where Pluto finds a home in one's natal chart is where the native shall have obsessive, sometimes manic, impulses to control. For this is the house where the native fears losing control in. They want to be the prime dictator. They want to make the rules. They want to one-up their perceived competition here. There may be silent bouts of jealousy and rage which the native keeps to themselves. If they perceive an other to be succeeding in the area of their own Pluto placement, there may be bitterness and manipulation of events to display their opponent's negative traits. Pluto, with his ties to the underworld, never operates out in the open, you see. His moves are stealthy and beneath the surface, cunning and occasionally malicious, depending upon how far along the native is in his journey. For example, if one has their natal Pluto in the 7th house and they notice other individuals in happy relationships while they themselves are single, there may be quiet undermining of said relationship. There may be attempted toiling with said relationship. There may be deliberate infiltration of said relationship. You get the idea. And this can be stated about any house that Pluto sits in one's natal chart. The area of Pluto is highlighted, and the native will be on the secret lookout for anyone or anything faring what they perceive to be as better than they are in said house. An unevolved individual may even resort to intentional trespass of what they perceive as someone else's glory in their own area of obsession. This is why Pluto is associated with addiction. It stems from the obsessive tendencies. Many times Neptune is blamed astrologically for addictions, though it is not really Neptune at all. It is Pluto. Neptune does not care for power the way Pluto does, and so he rarely gets obsessed enough with something for it to become an addiction for him. Neptune is mutable water and changes his mind too often to fixate on any one thing. Pluto, however, is fixed. He is deeper than Neptune and less fluid. This is the very rigidity of emotional currents that lead quite often to obsession and therefore addiction. As we mentioned, Pluto will bring about 8th house matters to any area in which he is placed in one's natal chart. So his influence will be that of a substantial psychological nature. Sex, death, rebirth, transformation, and the like are all a lower chakra energy. The physical sensations that may induce reactions and responses in one's mental psyche and emotional body. These lower chakra energies are oftentimes considered to be taboo topics by many on the physical earthly plane, and therefore these topics are often pushed beneath the surface of the human existence and experience. These topics are, in essence, the underworld of the human condition. But when something is hidden, especially something egoistic and lower chakra based, because it is tucked away beneath the surface, it beckons louder than most in order to be discovered and acknowledged. This is why Pluto's characteristics can become obsessive or addictive. They are the very things that society has conditioned the human psyche to repress. Is sex a comfortable subject to discuss? How about death? Heck, how about birth? Never mind rebirth.
Where do babies come from?
Did anyone even answer that question? And don't even get me started on reincarnation. So you get the point. Pluto and 8th house matters aren't the trendiest of topics to be discussed openly or easily. The house that Pluto inhabits in one's natal chart, where there may be quite a bit of uncomfortability and underlying obsession because of the uncomfortability. If it was so easily discussed, would one fear to have this area of his life displayed out in the open? Would they keep something so hidden, even from themselves, to the point where it becomes an addictive obsession? Would they care so much about attempting to control this area of their life that it ends up controlling them? The key to understanding and utilizing the powerful energy of Pluto is to set it free. Allow it to be out in the open. Instead of burying it within the undercurrents of your psyche, why not allow it to see the light of day? Let it see the sun for the first time, so to speak. You see, the paradox of Plutonian energy is that the act of attempting to control it actually allows it to gain control over you. Pluto wants power. Pluto wants control. Pluto wants to transform you. And what Pluto wants, Pluto gets, with or without your consent. So Pluto is also a very karmic planet as well. We kind of signed up for his placement, didn't we? Without your consent, Pluto will beckon you with addictions, detrimental thought processes, ruminating mental evaluations, psychological torture even. He will keep you and this area of your life locked in the underground dungeon that he himself inhabits. Time and again, you may return there against your conscious will until you finally acknowledge that you cannot control Pluto. And he will no longer control you once this revelation is made. The area of your experience which you obsess over will remain a debilitating additive in your journey until it consumes you enough to transform you, to give you a new way of doing things, a new way of looking at things, a new birth in the house in which he dwells, a rebirth. Pluto is not associated with the phoenix rising from the ashes for no reason. His very purpose is to disarm you, to show you how you were giving your power away to a perceived enemy, which ended up being you all along. When one sees the power of their own Plutonian energy and allows their very own false perceptions to be burned away, that is when one truly connects to Pluto and harnesses his prolific energy. The house where Pluto is placed in the natal chart may see many revolutions, resulting in evolution throughout the lifetime in this physical body. There may be quite a few transformations as time passes, and outdated addictive behaviors are relinquished unto the ashes. Watch them burn proudly, knowing they no longer serve you, but they did indeed serve you well. If Pluto is placed natally in one's first house, for example, this individual may change their appearance drastically over the course of their experience on Earth. Each time, they may enjoy their new appearance very much, but they shed it for something completely different when they are feeling trapped and desire to reinvent themselves once again. And so it goes for any area of the chart in which Pluto calls home. There shall be many obsessings here until the point where the native realizes their own role in said situation and releases them. And because of their release, they no longer entrap the native, and he or she is free to fully be the me version that their obsessings were keeping them away from. If there is an area in your experience where you feel an addiction to or an obsession towards, check your Pluto placement. Once the things that were kept hidden there are recognized and released out into the light of day, no longer will they behave as destruction. They will display themselves as cobwebs to be swept away, allowing you to shine in that area even brighter than before. Now, you are not attempting to hide your Pluto placement. You are displaying him loud and proud. Your power is reclaimed, and your psychological demons are transformed into the waiting angels they were always meant to be. You realize now that it is you who is the phoenix who has risen from the ash. To find your house placement of and aspects to Pluto, you will need your exact birth time. And as always, a link will be left below in the description that you can click on to find your natal chart details. And that is our topic for today, friends, the transformative power of Pluto. I am Oculus, the alien next door. We will chit chat again soon. Stay blessed.